I hope you guys enjoyed our first step together. And if anybody wants to raise their virtual hand, introduce themselves, it's a great chance to start to get to know each other, to chat a little bit.
My name is Nancy.
Rachel.
Sorry. I'm Nancy. And
Hi,
Nancy. I'm Rachel's mom.
Oh,
And
Rachel's
a week ago today, I had a massive heart attack. And so thank you so much for praying. Yeah.
We've been praying for you. Wow, what a blessing to see you right here with us. So amazing. You guys should know that Rachel is a beloved member of our fellowship. We've had the whole
So are we. We have been for a long.
Of course. And I'm saying,
Yeah.
I was going to continue saying is that Rachel told us about your condition, and we were really worried about you and praying for you. So I'm so happy to see you. We've had your whole family out here, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Your adorable grandchildren. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you for being here.
Yes, I so special. Yeah, thank you for your prayers. But I also thank you for this. It's fantastic. And I'm looking forward to it because probably about 5 years ago, I actually did what basically was motivated to do what you're doing. And that was to pick a woman of valor for every month of the year with a women's group that came for Rosh Hashanah celebrations in my home. And so it's going to be interesting to see how we connect. And yes, of course, I chose Esther for this month as well.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, send me your list. It'll inspire us. Send me your list
Okay.
for who you connected to each month, because I'm
And I
still
chose
like,
Miriam for
yeah. Well, I'm racking my brain for
yeah.
who should be for ER.
Yeah.
So I'm ready.
Hey, I can
I'm open to
I'll give
ideas.
you the list. I'll send it. I'll email it to you, and you
I
can
would love to get that email. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I just want to thank you for this. This is meaningful. It's also personally inspiring. And, as a woman who struggled in her, young teenage years with feeling very insecure and whatever. And I took a speech class in university, and I realized something about myself, that I chose it on purpose because I was absolutely scared stiff to speak in public. I'd rather die. And I thought, no, I've got to address that weakness in me. And I realized I took that course, and of course, we're talking many, many years ago, that I realized I'm motivated when I realize that the people I'm speaking to really need to hear what I'm saying. And
Wow.
so it's not about me, it's about them. And I think that is so encouraging, that what motivates most of us women is a sense of compassion for our fellow men, especially if they're members of our family or our community, and to the point of willing to put ourselves in harm's way. And I also realized that putting yourself in harm's way is usually comes whenever you want to put yourself out there, is talking about the things of the Lord, right? To become a Bible teacher in a school, and it was a Christian school, I'm using quotes because they weren't exactly following scripture at all. But I realized it just put a great big target on your back when you want to stand up for what you know is truth and speak it, and to speak it like Esther did, knowing that it could end up, if you perish, you perish, but you feel this deep inner, I have to say it anyway, because it's not about me, it's about you.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. For me, you know who that is in my life? That's Tabitha for me, because whenever I want to say something, and then as soon as I say something that's like a little bit much, I'll get really nervous. I said, Tabitha, take that down, take that video. Right this week, I said, Tabitha, take that video off of YouTube. I can't. I'm too embarrassed. And she goes, no, no, no. She goes, she goes, I'll take it down if you want, but I think people really need to hear it. And then that's like, oh, okay. Well, if she said that, then I really can't. I really can't take it down. That Tabitha like holds me up to that standard of like, there's people that need to hear it. So however embarrassed you might be, like, too bad. Wow. Well, thank you. So excited to have you here with us.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else?
No, I'll give others a chance to speak. No.
Hello. Hi.
Is that Audrey?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Audrey.
Tehillah. Yeah, hello. How are you?
Baruch Hashem.
I'm very glad that you started this. Don't even think that it's I feel good about it because I think we feel good about it. That's why we joined, right? Um, for sure, right? I think I wanted to say with the other lady there that more power to her because having a heart attack is no fun. I know. I've had 3 of them. So, but I'm still,
Wow.
but I'm healthy. I'm healthy. I'm doing this Judean diet and now I'm doing this. I mean,
Well, Hashem has a plan for you.
I guess,
He needs you here strong with us.
well, listen, when I got sick, you wouldn't have thought that because I couldn't speak hardly and everybody thought that was a blessing. But anyways, thank you for having this woman of valor. I think it does cause us women. I know for me, I think that you know what, we're born here for a reason, and I think the studying of the Torah and the Bible has really changed me. I mean, it has really changed me since I started back when you first started the fellowship. You know, in many ways, okay, as my faith, I found that it certainly has strengthened my faith and made me look at different things. And I just find now, Tehillah, I don't just take things for face value anymore, right? And I think you changed a lot of that, right? Because you're a good digger. You could have been a good what do you call it, well maker or whatever you call it, right? Because you get to the bottom of things, and that's great. I love that. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I'm glad to be here.
I'm so glad that you're here with us. Thank you.
Hi,
Hi.
Tehillah. Thank you for doing this. I'm really excited. I'm really appreciate that you started this up. I can't believe you've been thinking about it for years. I'm
Oh
so
my
glad
gosh.
you got it going. I had a question. It was something you said in the context of when Mordecai had given his response to her, and the context was, you were saying, most parents would build their children up in this moment. And that's not how Mordecai responded. So I don't know if that context helps, but my question is, you mentioned 3 myths. You said the self-esteem myth, the guilt myth, and the feminine myth. And I automatically can imagine, what you mean by a feminine myth and
Well, I
and
actually said feminism, not feminine.
Oh,
I said feminism. Just the
I
idea
understand.
that
In my brain, I
men
translated.
and women are at each other's throats rather than able
Yes.
to lovingly cooperate.
Yes, and I think I translated feminism to feminine, but that one makes sense. I'm wondering if you can expand on maybe what you were meaning by self-esteem myth and the guilt myth. And I don't know if we have enough time, but I'd love to hear now or later your kind of what you were meaning by that.
For sure, and we definitely can go on discussing. And these are not like hard and fast phrases. I think they're just kind of like the phrases that came to me, but we can they're obviously definitely open for discussion. But what I meant is that we have this modern idea that the way you build up that you build yourself up is by saying, I'm great, I can do it. Or, you tell your kids, you're great, you're amazing, you're incredible. Now, not to say that you shouldn't ever say that, when your child does something amazing, of course you should tell them that they did something amazing. I'm telling my kids, I try to notice all of their, amazing qualities, but there's this sort of conventional wisdom in modern psychology that the way to build somebody up is to just tell them how great they are. And I don't think that that's the biblical idea. It's not about how great you are. It's about how much strength you could have when you tie yourself to God's will and to God's destiny and to what Hashem is asking of you. Your greatness is not independent and standing on its own, and you're just born, you're born great, you're wonderful, you're kind of wonderful, and you're kind of not wonderful. Like, you're a person in all of the complexity of what that is. You have your good sides and you have your dark sides. Like, you're just an actual person, but your greatness can come out. The greater side of you can overcome the darker impulses when you realize that you're just your own personal preferences and your personal comfort are just not as important as what Hashem has in store. And when you connect yourself to that and say, I'm going to be connected to that, then you actually can become great. But you're not just inherently great, whatever you are. You're complex. You're a mixture of inclinations in every direction. And that's like the honest way of looking at it. And what I meant by the myth of guilt was, I think that also in our modern society, guilt gets a bad rap. Maybe not among the women here, but people are like, oh, don't feel bad. Like if I ever say like, I'm really working on something, I find that I get a lot of pushback. Like I'll be like, oh, I'm really working on that thing. Think about like when you talk about like going on, eating healthy. I'm gonna try to, oh no, you're fine. What? I'll say like, I feel really bad about this thing that happened. Silly. Come on, everyone does that. Like I find that when I actually feel bad about something and I voice that, then instead of getting encouragement, I get a lot of pushback. I get a lot of people being like, no, because like if you're working on yourself, then they should also. It makes people feel, I think, actively uncomfortable. A lot of people tell me that like when they're overweight and they lose weight, they lose friends too, because like suddenly their friends like felt good being around another person who was also kind of like not taking care of their physical health, and now like suddenly like, oh, do you think you're better than me that you're doing all this work, and now like I'm just stuck in my habits. And so I think that Esther and Mordecai are smashing that kind of convention and saying, no, 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 like having an honest look, not the kind that paralyzes you, but an honest look at yourself and looking at the darkest, worst possibility for why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like, why am I doing this? I can make excuses, or I can take the worst possible scenario and try to face that. It might not be true, but at least I'm willing to face it and think about it. At least I'm willing to like entertain that possibility. And that's something that I think modern society kind of pushes us away from, to kind of like shield ourselves from. But that the biblical view says like, and that's why we have the sacrifices that we have. Like, yeah, you do something wrong, I'm taking responsibility. I did something wrong. I'm guilty. I did something wrong. I'm working through it. I'm not going to be stuck there. I'm working through it. And that's, I think, the moment where she's really able to become great is when she doesn't just brush everything, sweep everything under the rug, but she really looks at it. She takes an honest reckoning. So I hope that answered the question, but we could definitely keep
That
on.
does. Thank you. That does. Thank you.
Discussing.
I appreciate that.
Tabitha, who's next? Seeing like really great friends here that I'm so excited to be seeing.
Hey, Tahila.
Wait, who is that? Who's talking now?
Charlene.
Charlene!
I actually was going to put my hand down because Kristen kind of asked the question that I was going to ask, but I wanted to say this was so great. And I also wanted to tell you that your teaching on willful blindness has been haunting me ever since you taught it. I've been seeing it everywhere. So when you were talking about Esther here and being able to look at that dark thing as to why you're not doing what you're doing, again, it was something that just reminded me of teaching. But
Wow.
constantly,
I didn't make that connection.
Yeah, you are constantly challenging me. I'll tell you that in the teaching.
Thank
So
you.
I appreciate it. And thank
I'm
you
just so
for,
happy
thank
to
you.
see you. How long has it been since we've gotten together? It's been like
A
5
couple
years.
years. Yeah, a couple years. But I was so glad
Wow.
I met you guys.
It was
Thank you.
wonderful. So glad to see you again.
And I'm glad you're doing this. Long
Thank
overdue for
you.
us.
Thank you. You were a big encouragement. As soon as we announced it, Charlene wrote to me personally, like gave me a big encouragement, because I was sort of kicking myself like, why did I agree? I always say to Jimmy, why did I agree to do this? Oh my gosh, this is way too overwhelming. Why did I agree to do this? You always get me into trouble. I can't. And then I got a message from Charlene, and that gave me a lot of encouragement.
So thank you.
Thank you. Suzanne. Is that
Hello.
Suzanne, my friend from Arkansas?
Hey, I just wanted to say that the Proverbs 31 woman has always been so daunting and unattainable. I mean, it just seems like she's the pinnacle of everything. And I wanted to thank you for bringing the essence of that down to where it's more within our grasp, just understanding what that word valor, just that question, asking that question, and just making it to where I feel like maybe that's something that I could attain to, try to get to. I've always struggled with self-esteem issues, and I felt like my mom was this woman that, a woman of valor. But my goal now is that at my memorial service, I want my husband and my kids to stand up and call me blessed.
Wow.
But so anyway, so I'm working on that. I also wanted to know, are you going to be coming to Dallas this summer?
Okay, so let me start with number one. First of all, thank you for that comment. And I found it. I'll tell you why. When I first started this and we were dealing with names, Tabitha, do you remember what I said? And they're like, women of valor. I'm like, are they going to think that I'm claiming to be the woman of valor? Because like, I actually don't know how to do that. And then once I started looking at the verses and I saw that it's framed in the form of a question, I was like, okay, well, we can all ask these questions together. That's
Mhm.
something that's a journey I'm willing to embark on, a journey of questions of trying to figure it out and realizing that no one actually is there, but
Mhm.
it's asking the right questions to see, how you can grow into that is so much more interesting than just being
Yes.
that. Because if you're just that, then you're boring. You're just perfect.
Mhm.
But when you're growing into that, that's a person who's interesting. That's a person I want to be friends with. I was actually thinking that once we finish the course on biblical heroines, one of the options that we're kind of mulling over is maybe doing a deep dive into this, like verse by verse, like every class doing like just a focus on one of the verses and what does it mean, and going through all of the proverb of women of valor to try to really understand like every single aspect of it. So if there's interest in that, then maybe that'll be like the
Yeah.
next course after this one. Am I coming to Colorado? I do not know.
So Dallas.
No, Dallas. I don't know either. I don't
Oh,
know if
okay.
we are leaving the farm this summer. It depends on a lot of factors, including the war and the health of our ailing family members. So we will have to see and decide. But I think Jeremy will be at the Israel Summit in June, and I have not decided if it's going to be a possibility for me or not.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they will do something on the side for fellowship people that don't have to go to
Yes,
the
that is the
summit.
plan. Tabitha's thumbing you up. They were
Good.
telling you, yes, that is happening.
Good, because the only
That is
people I'd be
happening.
interested in listening to would be y'all.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, well, I hope I make it.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Savannah.
It's been long desired. So thank you.
Yeah. And love to your family.
Thank you.
Okay, Jane.
Jane.
Hi, Tahila. So first of all, I have
Hey.
to say my husband and I love getting on the fellowship every Sunday morning. We love Ari and Jeremy, but when Tahila talks, we're like, yes, we love it when you talk. So I'm so thankful that us gals can get together and learn from you because you're a blessing, seriously. Been to the Aragoat farm twice. I love it there. So hopefully we'll be back this summer and we'll come visit
Yes,
again.
we miss you. Come back again.
Yeah. So one of the things that really struck with me was the honest look at yourself. Like God's like, yeah, I can use you, but you're not like irreplaceable. And I think sometimes we all might just think, yeah, I'm this strong-willed, yeah, I can do this stuff. And it's like, but if your heart's not right and you've got the wrong attitude, sometimes it's, we have to check ourselves. So I love how you said, sometimes we have to ask ourselves the right questions. So I love that. And I'm one of those people,
Yeah.
like if Mordecai had said that to me, it's like, you're not all that great and you can't, you might not be able to do this. That's when I'd be like Queen Esther's like, oh yeah, I think I can. So I feel like she might have had that too. Like, all right, I might just be some young girl
Like,
but
bring
here
it
I
on.
am.
Bring it
Bring
on.
it on. But I
I
love
love
this. This
that.
was
I
a
love that
great
reading.
lesson. Yeah, I
I
love
love that
that too.
reading. Thank you. That was a great other different framing of it that really speaks to me. I like
Yeah.
that. Thank
But
you.
thank you. And I'm looking forward to doing this with all of you great women. I think this is a really wonderful thing. So thanks for starting this.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Okay, so I think this maybe we'll finish up with Virginia.
Yep, last
And
one.
then I want to give everyone a little blessing before you guys go.
Hello, Taila. It's good to see
Hey,
you.
Virginia. So
We
nice
did
to see
meet in
you.
person in Silk, Colorado a while back, but and that was enjoyable to see you and interacting with your kids and everything. And like Jane, I absolutely look forward to the fellowship every Sunday morning. It's wonderful, but you are a highlight, and I love how Jeremy knows it. So, um, one of the things I wanted to bring, well, first of all, I do want to thank Charlene that you're doing this. Thank you, Charlene, and for her encouragement. And but one of the things I like that you brought up, and I really want to delve into and consider more and more, as we walk this out, is the lifting up of men and women in their own roles together. And it's traditionally, even in Christianity, there's a lot of men lifting themselves up, or maybe putting women down, or maybe it's the other way around. But I like the idea of, in our strength, which begins with humility, God will lift us both up to the roles we need to be in. It doesn't need to be a putting down of anybody. And I've noticed that when you guys have talked on the land of Israel, it's the way that you guys have your marriage very different than I've ever heard before. And it's really just, it's encouraging me to consider a place of strength, a woman of valor is a place that we are need to be, and it's not a lessening of people of women in themselves. So
Wow, thank you, Virginia. Yeah, I think that the way that things are framed, you know, you had this, let's say, the older traditional view where, the man was in charge and the woman is, subservient. And then you kind of think it's going to be corrected, but it corrects and it corrected so far in the opposite direction that I look around and I see so many men now are like being crushed under the,
right,
the wheels of feminism and can't find their place. And they're just, they don't even know what they're supposed to be doing with themselves. And men have such amazing, unique strengths that we don't have, and they're not finding their place. And I think that the Torah is offering just a totally different path, where it starts in the very, very beginning, when it says Eve is the Hebrew for a helpmate is a helpmate against him. It actually says in Hebrew, Ezer kenegdo. It doesn't really translate in English. It just says a helpmate. That's not what it says in Hebrew. It says a helper against him, like opposite him. What does it mean to be the helper opposite him? You help somebody by pushing back, not fighting, just, needless fighting for the sake of fighting, but like, okay, well, how do we make this more precise? We have an idea. Like my husband, he'll have like so many ideas, and people will say, like, how did you let Jeremy move to the farm? That's so crazy. You're such a normal lady. Why do you let him do that crazy thing? I say, well, you know what? You don't get credit for all the stupid ideas you don't let happen. I said, you know how many crazy ideas I had to veto before that one slipped under the wire. So you never get credit for what doesn't happen, right? Like, do you know how many times I had to say that idea is crazy? Don't do that. This one likes to, somehow one of them got away. So it's the idea of the Torah. You see this from the very beginning. I mean, you see it with Sarah and Abraham. She was able to see things about Ishmael that Abraham wasn't able to see. And God said, listen to what she's saying. She's saying something important. And you see this again and again throughout the Torah. There's this, it's not a fight, it's a conversation. It's a conversation. It's a conversation that everyone emerges greater from.
amen.
And it's not anyone having to crush each other at the expense of the other, but rather just people lifting one another up. And I can say, like, in my life, like, I would literally never have the courage to do this if I did not have Jeremy telling me, like, pushing me behind and do this, do this, do this. I never went in front of a camera in my life up until a couple of years ago when we started the fellowship. Jeremy had been in media for years. I never thought in a million years that I would have the courage to even like wave on the screen. But if he wasn't pushing me, to be more, and I push him, and we push back at each other and correct each other when we're falling off the path, and that's how you can actually like rise together, not anyone crushing the other, but just, I think that Mordecai and Esther exemplify that, because they both essentially, it says he's second to the king, they both essentially become royalty, like as high as you can go by listening to one another.
Right, love it.
So yeah, that's
Thank you.
definitely going to be something that we discuss more throughout the group. Throughout this program. So thank you guys so much. I want to just end with a blessing. Every on Friday night when we bless our daughters, we bless them with a special blessing, and I just want to bless all of you guys from Judea. So we say, Yisamech Elohim Kesara, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. May Hashem make you like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and protect you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the Lord shine his face upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord turn his face toward you and grant you peace. So with all of my heart, I bless all of you women of valor with that great blessing to follow in the footsteps of our matriarchs, and that I bless all of us to be growing together on this journey And I just want to say that we're going to throughout the month be giving hopefully supplemental material. Bear with us because we're just learning with baby steps. We're trying to figure out, we're going to see what works, what doesn't work, what people like, what people don't like. It's going to be a learning process together, and we definitely want feedback on everything. I see that somebody just asked if I can announce we're doing next month. So next month's lesson is going to be on Miriam with Hashem's help. So if anyone wants to be reading up on that in advance, so for sure, great idea. And I will also be trying to share with you guys some ideas throughout the coming weeks and months until we meet again on the first Sunday of next month for our next live session. So big hugs and kisses to everyone. Bye, guys.